Hey, welcome to the Popcorn Perspective. It's your host Jay and AK. So, AK, far as I recall, you don't recall the original Avatar: The Last Airbender too well. Why don't you go ahead and give us a quick overview over your take on it?
Yeah, no, you're correct. I've recently saw Avatar, the animated show, back in 2020 during COVID. So pretty recently, but I'll be honest, there's not much that stuck with me. The show, I appreciated the show for what it was. I thought the story was pretty good, but I
You
just
didn't
didn't
like
really
the
care
original,
for
right?
it. I
Yeah.
liked it. I
Okay.
liked it. I didn't love it. I thought it was okay. I was like, yeah, it was fine. I liked it, but it wasn't anything that stuck with me. There's a lot that I did not remember. So while watching this live action show that just came out on Netflix, I was very impressed on how well acted, well like versed the characters were. The characters felt like they were part of the world. Everybody looked like their animated counterpart and acted like them to a certain degree of realism. Obviously, you cannot do the stuff that animated can do on live action and make it translate well. The heavy emotions. And personality just doesn't translate well on live action. So I think they did a good job at finding a middle ground and toning them. Plus, I thought the overall show just was fairly accurate to how it was in the animated, which is very hard to do nowadays. Is you never see a reboot that is very accurate. It's always missing a lot of details or just rushed and not a good job. So I was definitely appreciative of the live action show.
So
What
I
about you, Jay?
definitely
What did you
disagree
think?
with you there. I don't think it was as truthful to the source material,
Yeah,
but we
you're
can definitely
telling
get
me.
on that a bit later.
Yeah, no,
What was your
please.
favorite part of
Mhm.
the show? What was your favorite part of the
I,
live
s-
action?
the same part that was my favorite in the animated. It was Sokka. I think he's just a show stealer. Like he's funny, and he has a lot of heart and a like he's just a very entertaining character to watch and how he grows and how he develops.
Yeah, Sokka is good. Any other character that you may have remembered from the animated that you maybe liked more or liked about the same?
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I'm thinking maybe this is something that you are probably going to be mentioning here shortly about changes. But I feel like that the episode with the mechanic in that big city. I feel like that mechanic in the animated, I feel like I had a lot more sympathy for her in the animated than I did in the live action. I'm not sure if that was just me misremembering something, or was he more? Did he have a more like substantial role in the TV show that I can't remember?
No, no, you're right. So that whole episode in the live action is done
Hmm.
completely differently. Uh,
Okay.
who you're referring to, the mechanic, he
Hmm.
actually has an entire episode dedicated to him, and
Okay.
the details that come out from there are a lot more profound. So,
Hmm.
do you remember in the attack of the Northern Water Tribe, they used that hot air balloon?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the mechanic actually designs that hot air balloon with
No, no, I
Sokka.
remember. I remember that little
Yeah,
like yeah that.
and that actually comes full circle in the last season. Obviously, I'm
Hmm.
not going to try and spoil it that far ahead,
No, no, no,
but
don't. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So there is a lot more detail that I think they should have fleshed out with his character
Hmm.
because he is more important in
Okay.
his fight against and for the Fire Nation. I don't think they clarified that as much.
Okay, because yeah, I just
Yeah.
remember liking him a lot more. Like, don't get me wrong, I liked his character. I think Daniel really did a great job portraying him. I just felt like there's a lot missing from him, so I'm
Yeah.
glad I remembered something.
Nah, for sure. So he's a good character, and then they
Mhm.
expanded a bit more on Azula and Firelord Ozai
Oh, I
because
like
Azula
that a
is more
lot.
prominent in the
Yeah,
second season.
I
So
remember
yeah,
that.
they
Yeah,
did a
because
bit more
this.
job. So what did you think
Yeah,
of that?
they actually made her a lot more interesting. Because I honestly had no care for her all throughout the show. She never had it. Like I had no emotions for her. I was like, whatever. But in the live action, I'm actually enjoying watching her portrayal like as a jealous a jealous kid who wants the power but just have no respect from the dad and just wants to usurp her brother's power, and it's just very entertaining to watch.
Yeah, so Firelord Ozai, he is really interesting in this one because you really see him playing his kids,
Hmm.
putting the
He
fire
reminds
underneath
me. He
them.
reminds me of Tywin Lannister.
Yes, yes. It seems like they've gone more Game of Thrones in this show, or they're trying to go more that direction.
Which
So,
that does kind of lead into something that I actually did not like about the show.
okay. Yeah,
And
what
I'm
is that?
not, yeah, I'm not sure if this was translated better on animated. I'm not sure how many episodes per season the animated had, but I feel like in the live action, it was they were just hopping to place. It didn't feel like they were traveling anywhere. It felt like, oh, I was going to walk 5 feet and now I'm in the Fire Nation. I'm going to walk 10 more feet. I'm in the Earth Nation. I feel like you
Yeah,
didn't really have a sense of journey with them.
right, right. Yeah, I can definitely see that. They're too eager to get to the fight scene, to the cool scenes, so to say,
Yeah,
that they're not
instead of building it up.
developing the characters as well, in my opinion.
Because I feel like the same thing with the movie, that shitty movie that
Oh,
no one talks
goodness.
about.
Yes. Yes,
Um,
yes.
with the same thing they had with this TV show when they go to the Northern Tribe, and it's all done within like 30 minutes. You meet them, you get introduced to them, then the battle happens, and then it ends, and then they go to separate ways. Like even the
Yeah.
movie, it was like, oh, we can only dedicate 20 minutes of an hour 30 minute movie on the biggest important fight of Aang's, I guess, like path of becoming an avatar. And
Right.
I feel like even with the TV show, I kind of want at least 3 episodes in the Northern Tribe, build up who they are, build up the character development. That way, when the princess dies, that you feel something. Because just like the animated, I really didn't care when she died.
So we had a few new scenes and development of certain characters like Firelord Sozin. So the show starts off with 100 years back. The war hasn't just started, but Sozin, with the death of the current avatar, he goes ahead and does a certain play to where he wants certain information to get out, but he makes it
Hmm.
seem like he's preventing it.
Oh,
How
that
did
was
you
nice. I
like
like
that
that.
backstory?
I didn't know who that was. I don't think they name dropped him at all. But now that you said his name, Sozin, I remember now that Sozin comment from the TV show.
Yes.
So I remember that now. But uh, I liked it. I thought I gave a decent enough background on how the war started, but
Okay.
it kind of the whole 100 years thing is also something that just kind of makes no sense. Within one year, you managed to take over the whole entire Airbenders. But what were y'all doing for the next 100 years? Just sitting around, just poking at the Ice Nation and the Earth Nation. Why did it take you 100 years to finally conquer the whole place? I feel like
So really
the.
interesting you say that.
Mhm.
That information that he lets out, it was a target at the Earth Kingdom. So the whole thing was, I'm going to attack the Earth Kingdom, and it's because of that. Everyone focused their forces to defend the Earth Kingdom.
Mhm.
Now, what that did, you're absolutely right.
Mhm.
What that did is it set in play why it's taken the Fire Nation 100 years to break down the Earth Kingdom, because they had an advance warning, and
Mhm.
they fortified Ba Sing Se and Omashu, the two strongholds of that area. And also, you have to remember the Fire Nation isn't inherently more stronger than the other nations. They had the Sozin's Comet for a brief period to overpower the Airbenders. The Airbenders could have actually taken out the Firebenders if it was like just them versus the Firebenders, no Sozin Comet.
Mhm.
The Airbenders actually would have won because they had
Mhm.
Sozin's Comet, they were able to overpower the Airbenders, and then his intent was to kill the Avatar, but that never happened. So his entire thing was,
Okay.
I'm going to use Sozin's Comet to kill the Avatar, Not, I'm gonna use Sozin's comet to conquer the entire world. He just
Got
messed
you.
up on his plan.
I mean, I can't really say he messed up. He just couldn't really account for Aang's decision making,
Right. So in this, it's different, right?
which I
In
like.
the
That's yeah. I was gonna say. I was gonna bring up about how Aang leaves. I liked it in this better than the TV show or the animated
okay,
because in the animated, I just like why like in the when he comes back 100 years later, just all happy, do. I was like, dude, fuck off, man! You literally just killed off a billion people, and you're still joking and laughing. Like, have some kind of like regret. And I like how they did in this show. He didn't mean to leave. He just wanted to go up and think. He wasn't planning on running away from everyone.
okay. So I can see that, but if you remember, Aang doesn't know he's been gone 100 years, and only once he goes to visit the Southern Air Temple again does he get the sense and gravity of it. But you're right. He shouldn't be as playful, but you have to remember, this is Nickelodeon
No, I know, I
2006.
know. No, no, I definitely understand, and no fault on its own because it still told a beautiful story. I
Yes.
just didn't care for him as a character in the animated
Okay.
show.
I personally think they took him a little too seriously from the get go in this one, and I don't know if I like that. A lot of these characters are to have an arc, but Sokka doesn't really have an arc in this, in my opinion,
Hmm.
and I don't feel they utilize his skills. So in the animated, Sokka is strategic and he knows how to use things because he doesn't earthbend or airbend or waterbend. So he's got to be smarter than the opponent. And in the animated,
Well,
they do make a good point at trying to get him to strategize and come up with plans. And my worry, so in book two, we're going to get Toph, who's going to join the Avatar gang.
yes, I remember her.
When we have a waterbender, an earthbender, and then the avatar, my worry is that Sokka is going to get more of a backseat. I think they should have developed his tactical skills in this season because if you noticed, Aang doesn't learn waterbending in this season, even though in the animated series, he and Katara are learning it together. I
Hmm.
don't know why they're going with those decisions because that's a lot to do in the book two. He's going to learn
One
earthbending
thing
and waterbending at the same time.
to build off with your issue with soccer, one because I said earlier that I think he had a pretty decent character development, and you just say he didn't. So I just want to maybe give a little pushback on that. So the reason why I'd argue that he has a pretty good backstory or character development is he feels like he never had the approval from anybody. He never had the respect from anybody. And his
Okay.
whole time, he had it in his head that he deserves the respect, that he demands the respect because he has to impress his dad. His dad already kind of like not neglected, but just kind of like he doesn't have what it takes. So now he has it over in his head that he has to do everything over the top to get that attention. So throughout the season, he keeps getting humbled. He realizes he's nowhere near as skilled, even though he tries playing it off when he goes to the island with the girls. But
Yeah,
he's
the
willing to
Kyoshi
learn.
Island.
The Kyoshi Island, yeah, he's willing to learn. So now you're showing that he's willing to forego his ego. He puts his ego aside. He knows he's not as good as everybody, so now he's willing to learn. And then you see him again uh, in the Northern Water Tribe when he gets to actually lead. People actually want to ask him questions about, oh, you were in the battle. How does this look? How does he feels a little more respect now? He feels like he's getting what he originally thought he deserves, and now he's willing to learn. And then he also, when he was talking to, I think it's the princess, she was like, you need to think a better way to fight. So she's already telling him now you need to learn to strategize. So I feel like we
Okay.
built up him as a fighter now, and now we're going to build season two him as a strategist because
Okay,
she
yeah.
implanted that in his head. That's why she said that to him. Like you don't bend. You gotta use your head. You gotta be more strategic. You gotta approach things more differently. And I feel like
I
it's going to build
think
him
you're
up.
referring to the one of the Kyoshi warriors, right?
Okay, was it? It might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suki. Yeah, Suki is the one who tells him,
Okay,
we
so
don't
who's
bend. You've
okay?
got to be smarter, right?
So I feel like it's slowly building that up that he's going to slowly start.
Yeah, yeah, no, I get that. And I just wanted to see a bit more of that in the season. I'm worried that they're going to try and go through too much in
Hmm.
season two, that he might take more of a backseat. So that's why my hope was that you just have these three characters you're trying to focus on. All right, cool. So Uncle Iroh, when he tells the crew of Zuko and his struggle, how did you
Hmm.
feel about that? The portrayal of Zuko and how he was in the chamber with his father. This played out a little differently. How did you like this tying in?
I liked it a lot, honestly. I didn't remember any of that, his sacrifice or anything like that in the
Okay.
animated show. So maybe because I forgot that that happened in the animated show, I actually liked it a lot in this show. It humanized him a lot faster because I'm thinking the animated show, it took me to like midway of season two before I started like sympathizing with him. In
Okay.
this, I kind of sympathized with him by like episode two. I was already understanding or feeling for him. So especially with that episode, I think that was like episode four or five. I That's when I was completely sold over Zuko. Sorry.
Yeah, no, no, no. That's true. So anything else that stood out to you? How did you like Jet's character? So in here, he actually blows up a area where there were civilians and fire
Oh,
spender spies. He blows that up, and so it's more of a he's actually done something bad. In the original, he blows up a dam, if I'm not mistaken. But Sokka does tell everyone in the town to get out, so no one actually gets hurt or injured. So he's a little bit more redeemable, but yeah, blowing up a dam is probably not good either. So how do you feel
no.
about this one? Maybe a little bit more unredeemable just because he's actually injured people.
Well, he's like a, I guess you can call him like an extremist, right?
Yeah,
I feel like there's very hard to redeem a character like that. But that said, I do want to see more of him. I feel like he was a very interesting, you know, over the top, I guess, freedom fighter, someone
yeah,
is who is in the right side, but he's doing things in the wrong order. Like he's taking
exactly.
things to the next level. And characters like those are always very interesting to watch because they can add a lot of depth to TV show or to the character themselves.
For sure. And there's a lot of gray to it, so it is really interesting.
Yeah.
So King Boomy, Aang's old friend. I thought it was a great portrayal. Like what I imagined from the animated to what it was on live action, I actually really liked it. What did you think of
Same thing I thought on the animated show. He annoyed the hell out of me, I'll be honest.
it?
But I liked him a lot better in the animated show, I think.
Okay, okay,
I liked him in the animated more than this live action, personally.
okay. Yeah. He is a very weird character, and I think he's supposed to be senile and crazy. So
I mean, he's over
I kind of
100
liked
years
it.
old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, right? 112, 115, yeah, somewhere in
That's it.
there.
I won't deny. Like, holy shit, that fight scene in live action was amazing.
Yeah.
I thought that was really well done.
So I think a really strong episode was probably there was an episode you didn't like. Which one was that? Was that Spirited Away or
Yeah, that was
Masks?
episode five, the Spirit Away one.
Spirited Away.
Episode
Okay.
four, I think episode four or episode seven was my favorite.
Okay.
Which one was the
Right.
mask? Which one was that? That
Masks
was
was
one of my
6.
favorite. Okay, it's between
Yeah. So
that one or for episode
that's
four.
okay. So Masks was my favorite too, and that was where Zuko's entire story comes into light when
Yeah,
he everything's explained. Um, and what did you think of? I like to group the last two as kind of the finale. So that's where they get to the north, and then that's where Zhao attacks the northern water tribe. What did you think of the last two episodes?
I liked it a lot. I thought they did a great job. I guess explaining the situation and portraying a pretty great fight scene and pretty good choreography. But my only issue is something I mentioned earlier with just the story structure itself. That was like my only big complaint is I really didn't feel anything for the characters.
Okay.
And the whole time I was waiting for the waterbender leader, that master, to be like a turncloak. I honestly thought he was selling secrets to the fire. They should just he did not look like he wanted to be there at all. So outside of that, I liked the episode itself. The visuals were great. The action was great. The choreography was great. The dialogue
Mhm.
and just the acting itself was all really well done. I just feel like the story could have done better with.
Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, so I was not as impressed with the North. I liked it. I liked the finale in the animated more, and that's mainly because I think they allowed throughout the season they allowed the characters to make their mistakes, to learn, to grow, and you finally get that at the end where they're actually maturing, they're actually growing. Um, I didn't feel the characters had enough time to grow. So one complaint I had was with uh, Kitara. Kitara in the animated takes her time developing her skills, and then she's also training Aang at the same time. Aang picks it up super quick because he's an airbender and he's the avatar. So he is naturally gifted. That causes jealousy with her that why is he picking up way quicker than I am? And what she realizes at the end of the season is I need to grow up. I need to now start teaching in a proper manner. And that's why in season two, she's a much better teacher to Aang than in season one. And that's sort of the growth that I wanted to see. But in here, it was like she was bad for an episode or two, and then she was great after that. And then she even went toe to toe with um, the Master Paku, I think is his name. So in the animated, she does not go toe to toe with him. She shows enough that he kind of respects her, but he wipes the floor with her, which makes sense. The dude is a master. The dude has been doing it for so long,
Yeah, that is true.
and I'm not sure why that's the direction they went in. I'm guessing it's just to show that oh, she's such an amazing character. She's gonna be a great teacher to Aang. That could
Well,
be
they
it.
also, without building it up, though, unfortunately, I'm with you on that. But they did mention multiple times, like, "Oh, she's natural. Oh, she's like a natural gift," or they kind of made it seem like
I
that.
get that.
Yeah, but I'm with you on that. It
Yeah,
wasn't earned.
yeah. I don't think should have gone toe to toe with Master Paku. I think he should have won handedly, but they should have been enough for him to see. It's like okay, she's got a lot of potential, and I need to change the way I'm thinking. That's the
Like if
direction
they
I would have
wanted,
liked.
if they wanted to make it seem like that she was still a badass, maybe have her actually strike him once or twice, like hit him once or
Okay,
two, and then
yeah,
he just like completely obliterates her. That way you show like, oh, she's still a badass, but
yeah,
he's nowhere near that level. But not with you on that. She just out of nowhere spit all these moves I never seen. I was like, oh, rare.
yeah. Perfect, awesome. So before I go into some of my criticisms, why don't you go ahead and give us a review? What do you think? Like, do you think people should go watch it? I know we've got our stale, our home cooked, and our theater popped, but in all honesty, should people watch it?
I think whether you're a fan of the animated or not, I think you'll enjoy the show. I think it does enough for you to be introduced to a world that you really don't know about. Like I said, I watched the TV show, but I don't remember anything from it. So I definitely liked it a lot. I appreciated it. I thought it can use tweaking and work on like the story itself. I think that's what Jay and I have been discussing for the last 30 minutes here, last few minutes. But I honestly think that just updating some of the stories or maybe just the direction itself. tweak it just a little bit, I think the show can be really good in season two.
Yeah, I can see that. So I actually watched it with my wife, and she actually got hooked into it. So that's a good barometer for me that if you've
Hmm.
never seen Avatar The Last Airbender, the original, you're probably going to like this. It's a fun show, fun characters, and overall, it's a strong story. I had my issues just because I have a lot of nostalgia for the original content. That's why I'm going to be a little harsher on it. But overall, I think you should watch it. Probably home cooked, though I've
Oh
got
yeah, I
some
didn't rate
issues.
mine. So you said home cooked?
Yeah.
Okay, because I personally say theater popped.
Oh, dang. Okay.
I thoroughly enjoyed the live action. Like
Awesome. Awesome.
I'm
Awesome.
definitely looking forward to season two.
I am looking forward to season two because season two is supposed to be the best season. And there are a few things I want to touch on. So here are a quick few thoughts. I think we already touched on. We felt a few of the character arcs needed to be fleshed out a bit more. The characters got to from point A to point B a little too quickly for my liking.
Hmm.
And when Aang goes to talk to in the spirit realm, when he goes to talk to Roku, his previous incarnation, Roku actually tells him about Sozin's comet coming back. I'm not sure why they changed that or tweaked that. So I'm interested to see how they loop that back in because he needs to know that and find that out pretty soon. So in season two, I'm curious to see how that goes. And then I'm also interested to see how they develop Sokka. I know you liked him in the live action. I need to see more because he is also one of my favorite characters, and I just expected them to give like they need to give him something to do. They need to give him an actual role in Team Avatar. Each person in Team Avatar has a role. They need to develop that. And then
Yeah,
my
you were saying that earlier,
Mhm.
off air. You were mentioning that, and I honestly did not recall much of what you're telling me with soccer and the TV show and the animated. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I am interested in how that's going to play out.
And then my biggest hope is they need to integrate Appa and Momo way more. The connection Aang has with Appa is so special. And there's a huge storyline with Appa in season two that they cannot mess up. It's actually one of the best episodes of the entire season. So they really can't mess that up, and they need to put these two, Momo and Appa, more in the foreground, more in, like show them more. And I get that it's expensive because they actually look pretty good, so they're
They
gonna
did
have
a
to
really good
spend a bit
job.
more money.
Um, One thing I gotta say, I definitely appreciated Momo's and Sokka's relationship. That last episode when he died, and then
Yeah,
that was really well done. I was like, oh shit, I forgot about that.
that never happened in the
Oh, didn't it?
original. I don't think so. No.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
okay.
I could be wrong, but I don't recall that happening.
But there was definitely that came out of shock. That was
Yeah.
really well done.
So you're looking forward to season two?
100%, 100%.
Yeah,
You?
same. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it because it was my favorite season uh, in Avatar. There's so much character growth and so much character development, and the stories are so much heavier and deeper. And I can't wait. Oh, dude, we forgot our favorite character. What did you think of Uncle Iroh?
Oh, how did we not mention him at
I
all?
know.
Wow. Well, I just can't wait for Appa to meet Appa.
Yes, and that does happen in season
It
two.
does. It does. I remember that scene because he was my favorite character from both. This is soccer earlier, but no, Iroh is 100% my favorite character from both
Oh
the
my
live
god, me
action
too.
and the animated. And
Yes.
that actor, his name, escapes me right now, but he is such a great actor. He's such a
Yes.
joy to watch.
Ah, I know. I really, really enjoyed the interaction between Zuko and Uncle Iroh. Like that is my favorite duo, and I don't think they did an amazing job in the live action, but they did a good enough job in the live action.
You definitely show Iroh's like his sorrow. Like he carries a lot of weight with him. I feel like in the animated he didn't carry
Yeah,
that. Like he was more fluid, but obviously it's animated. It's
yeah,
hard to show
yeah. It's true.
weight or like heaviness. But he
There,
did a really good job at that.
there was a scene they added in the live action which I actually appreciated a lot, which was when Uncle Iroh lost his son and they're at the funeral, and Zuko just comes and sits by him. That I don't know that actually almost
That
made
was
me
good.
tear up. That was actually really sweet. And season two, they really need to dial the stuff up a bit more. This
I
show
think
worked really well when they focus on the emotion, when they focus on the character, when they're going through that grief. The show actually did a really good job with that.
oh definitely. And I have one thing for you because I know you hold the animated dear to your heart. What do you think about the casting?
Uh, I think the casting was good all around. Yeah, it was actually really good. Um, there was one character that just absolutely stood out to me. I think it was. I think it is Sokka. Yeah, Sokka is really good. I think his voice
hmm
also sounds so similar to the voice actor in the animated, and I think that's probably one of the closest resemblances I've seen. How about you?
No, yeah, 100%. I think he did a great job, and I also want to give it up for the actor who plays Sokka. He was fantastic. He
Yeah.
stole the show. He really did a great job with the character, and I feel like he's going to own it in upcoming seasons. One standout character I got to give a standout mention to is the that Kyoshi warrior person.
Suki,
That
right.
yeah, for that one
Yeah,
episode, she and her mom had such a great I guess character presence. I
right, right,
thoroughly
right, yeah.
yeah. I
Well,
was
we'll
really hoping to
definitely
see them
see more of
again.
her. Yeah,
Oh,
we
well, there
will.
you go. Thank you. Nah, but yeah, I definitely think the casting was phenomenal. It was really well done.
Definitely. Yeah. All right, dude.
Anything
Well,
else?
I got nothing.
No. Well, hopefully season two comes out soon. I'm excited.
Same.
All right, this has been the Popcorn Perspective. Peace.
Peace.